Set Boundaries, Find Peace, A Guide to Reclaiming Yourself by Nedra Glover-Tawwab is a practical and empowering guide to setting and maintaining healthy boundaries in all areas of your life. It focuses on helping readers set healthy boundaries in their relationships. It provides many tips to help readers set boundaries with other people in their lives. This video will outline the 6 most important points of the book in just a few minutes. Boundaries are a way to communicate your needs and limits to others. They help you protect your time, energy, and resources, as well as your mental health, and can prevent you from feeling overwhelmed, exhausted, or resentful. Many people struggle to set boundaries because they're afraid of hurting others, being rejected, or feeling guilty. However, setting boundaries is an act of self-care that can actively strengthen relationships and build trust. There are several types of boundaries, including physical, emotional, time, and communication boundaries. Each type serves a different purpose and requires different strategies to set and maintain. What are these different kinds of boundaries and how can we enforce them? Physical boundaries are the most obvious ones. These refer to your own physical space, your body, and your belongings. Examples of physical boundaries including such simple things as making sure that people don't go into your room, or do not touch certain items that you possess, as well as, of course, not allowing other people to touch you without your permission, and setting limits on how much time you spend with certain people. To set physical boundaries, it's important to identify what you are comfortable with and what makes you feel safe. You can communicate your physical boundaries directly and clearly to others, and enforce them by setting consequences for violations. Emotional boundaries are a little bit more complicated. These refer, of course, to your feelings, thoughts, and personal space. Examples of emotional boundaries including not sharing personal information with people who haven't earned your trust, or not taking responsibility for others' emotions, and not allowing others to manipulate you. To set emotional boundaries, you need to identify your emotional needs and limits, and learn to communicate them assertively but empathetically. You can also practice setting boundaries by saying no when you need to, expressing your feelings in a calm and clear manner, and setting limits on how much emotional work you're willing to do for others. Time boundaries refer to your availability, of course, which includes your schedule and priorities. Examples of time boundaries including setting aside time for self-care, saying no to certain commitments, as well as setting aside particular time for doing certain tasks. Delegating tasks to others is also a good method for setting time boundaries and is an essential skill for anyone who works with other people. To set time boundaries, you need to be intentional about how you spend your time and learn to prioritize your needs and goals. You can communicate your time boundaries by setting clear expectations with others, being honest about your availability and your limitations, and practicing self-discipline to stick with your own schedule and within your own boundaries. Communication boundaries refer to how you communicate with others and how much you're willing to share or listen. Examples of communication boundaries include not engaging in gossip or negative talk, not responding to messages or calls at certain times, and not tolerating disrespectful or abusive language. To set communication boundaries, you need to be clear about what kind of communication is acceptable to you and what is not. You can communicate your boundaries by setting ground rules for conversations, using I statements to express your needs and your expectations, and being willing to disengage or end conversation if boundaries are violated. Setting boundaries requires self-awareness, assertiveness, and compassion. You need to know your own values, needs, and limits, and be willing to express them clearly and respectfully to others. Boundaries can be challenging to enforce, especially if you have a history of people-pleasing or codependency. It's important to learn how to say no and how to deal with pushback or criticism from others. Boundaries can be renegotiated as your needs and circumstances change. It's important to be flexible and open to feedback, while also staying true to your own values and priorities. Overall, Set Boundaries, Find Peace offers a range of tools, exercises, and real-life examples to help you navigate difficult situations and create more fulfilling relationships. This book is essential for anybody who feels that some of their relationships in their life are uneven and it's a source of negativity or resentment between them and others. Setting boundaries is an ongoing process that requires self-awareness, assertiveness, and self-compassion. It's important to remember that boundaries are not a sign of weakness or selfishness, but rather a way to take care of yourself and create more high-quality relationships with others.
MA